Okay, so we will be going through quite a few things. We do have Ted in our chat. So if you have any questions, just write down below at the bottom, click either that chat button or that Q&A button, type in your question, and Ted will let me know. Okay, so we're going to get started. So the first thing that we're going to go over is how to update your company information. So when you first log into RedTeam Go, you're going to be here at your global dashboard. So the first thing we're going to want to do to update our company settings is select your name in the upper right-hand corner. And then from here, go to your company settings. Right now, right here, this is where your company information is going to live. Here's your company logo. Now, all of this information is very important because it is going to show up on the reports that RedTeam Go allows you to run. So if you wanted to change your company logo, you simply just need to click the logo right there, right? RedTeam will then allow you to upload a new logo. And you can see that I do have two. That's because RedTeam allows you to have more than one company. So if you have a parent company and a sister company, you can add additional companies here with separate information for each. If you do need to add an additional company, you'll just come right over here to the Add a Company button, and is going to walk you through that. Now you can see we have my logo right here, but here's my company information. So if it's blue, that means it's a hyperlink. So we can click right into that, and this is where we're going to update our company information. So you can see here on this side, we have our mailing address, and then here we have our billing address. Now the information over here, same thing. You can put in your office phone number, fax number, even your company website. All of that information goes right here. Also, the great thing is that RedTeam allows you to enter your business license number or your contractor license number. Once you enter this information, if you'd like, you can have these license numbers show up on the reports that RedTeam allows you to generate. So I want to show you one of the reports so you can see where this information is going to live. Right here, I have a report. So this is where it's all going to live. We've got your company logo, and then any of the company information that you entered would show up right there. So does anyone have any questions about entering your company contact information? No? All righty. Okay, so we are going to move on. All right, so the next thing that we're going to do is we're going to go over entering employees into your system. So that lives right here in the same exact area. You go to your name, and then you go to your company settings. So right here is where I have all of my employees. Okay, so to enter a new employee, you would just select the blue plus icon right there. And here's where you're going to enter all of their information into the profile. Okay, so you would enter their first name. Anything with an asterisk is a required field. You can enter their title. And you can see these areas don't have asterisks, so they're not required. However, right here, email username. This is very important. This is where you're going to want to put their email. And the reason why this is important is because RedTeam is going to send them their login information. So whatever we put here, this is how they're going to be able to log in to RedTeam. Okay. Now right here, you do have a little profile picture, so you can customize and personalize your employee profiles. You can add the picture just by clicking the add profile right there. Then you can upload their profile image. Okay. Now down here, this is where your employee rights are. So we have a laborer, we have a superintendent, a project manager, and an accountant. So the laborers, these are going to be those that are just entering timesheets into RedTeam. That's the only thing they're really going to be able to do is enter, the hours that they've worked on site. Now, next up, we have our superintendent. Now, your superintendent, they're going to be the one that reports to the project manager. So they're responsible for creating the daily logs. They'll be able to also enter time cards. They'll be able to upload progress photos for the projects, and they can initiate RFIs and issue field POs and enter expenses. Now you have your project manager. Now the project manager, they're going to be the ones that can create a new project in RedTeam Go. They're also the ones that control the flow of communication when the project is in bidding and pending and then going in to in progress, right? So you designate your project manager in the beginning of the project at the project dashboard. Okay, now you do have an accountant. Now the accountant is responsible for approving all of the owner bills and or notarizing them if they are notaries. So they're also going to be the ones that receive all the information about the project budget and the changes. They can do all of the tasks in RedTeam Go that a project manager can do, with the exception of updating the schedule. Okay. Now, a very important note right here is that you cannot be a superintendent and a project manager. So if your employee is someone that does both roles, they're a project manager and they work the role of a superintendent, you want to give them the project manager role. Okay, the project manager is going to be the one that's approving everything that the superintendent enters. If you only create them as a superintendent, they're not going to be able to enter their daily progress report and then approve it. So make sure you make them the project manager. Okay, now you can be a project manager and an accountant. So I want to point that out to you. You got these little check boxes. Okay, the radio dial can only select one. So I can't select superintendent and project manager. Alrighty. So now here we've got some additional rules and permissions. We've got the estimator, we've got the insurance receiver, you have your executive, your administrator, and your notary. Okay, so your estimator is just that. They're the ones that are creating the estimates here in RedTeam. Alrighty. So then you've got your insurance receiver. They're going to be the one that updates the general liability and workers' compensation insurance certificates for the subcontractors here in RedTeam Go. Alrighty. Now, an executive. So this can go to any role that's an estimator or a PM. Alrighty. The executive is going to be able to view the global dashboard of the whole company, as opposed to the estimator or project manager roles that only see information specific to their project. Okay, does that make sense to everyone? All right, so now you have your administrator. So the administrator has all the rights of the estimator or the PM, as well as the ability to update global settings and set program defaults in RedTeam Go, right? So they can update markups. They can also manage and add and remove any cost codes, trades, and so on. Okay. And then right here, just want to show you, if you check notary, if one of your employees is a notary, RedTeam allows you to enter their notary information here. Okay. And this will pop up when we create documents in RedTeam that require a notary. Now, right here for hourly employee, I want to tell you, if your employee is salary, you always want to keep them checked as an hourly employee, especially if you're going to be billing against the job, because the hourly employee will allow you to, or will allow the employee to enter timesheets and bill against the job. If you do not have this checked for the employee, they will not have the ability to enter timesheets. So just make sure you have that checked. Okay. And then here, limited view. This is going to allow the employee to only have access to projects that they are assigned to, right? So they won't be able to see all the projects, only the projects that they're assigned to as the project manager or whatever their role is. Right? So this is how you create your employees. When you're done, you're just gonna select the done button. Let me go into another profile because I do want to show you in here. Oh, this one already has their login credentials. At the top, there is a button up here that will show up once you create the employee. it'll allow you to send them their login credentials. If you've already sent them their login credentials, you can see this button is in here, and it tells you that they've already changed their login credentials. So that means they've already changed their default password. So if they have forgotten this and they need to get in, unfortunately, you can't do it, but they do have access to do it when they're logging into RedTeam. They would just select that they've forgotten their password. Okay. And then right here, you have your champions and you have your contacts manager. What this is saying is that if there's anything wrong with RedTeam, or if anyone at RedTeam Go needs to contact someone at your company, you would have them as the champion. Now, the contacts manager means if anything were to, if you were to send an email from RedTeam and it did not go through because let's say you had the email address incorrect, that person that's checked off in here, they're going to receive the email letting them know that an email sent from RedTeam Go did fail. Okay. So any questions on that? Nope. Okay, all righty. So now that we've gone over our employees and we've gone over how to update our company information, we are now going to go through how you can upload all of your external contacts. So your subcontractors, your vendors, your architects, your engineers, anyone that you're working with on your projects. So to do that, we're going to come right here to contacts, the very top. Okay. And then we're going to do bulk import. All right. So RedTeam allows you to download a template. And this is what that template looks like. Alrighty. So these are the fields. It's all very important that you fill this out. We do suggest that you do this by company. So you can upload all of your contacts at one company or just a couple of companies at a time. And I'm going to show you why. All right. So once you fill this out, you'll save it to your computer. And then you're going to come here and you're going to upload it. Ready? Right. So once you upload it, RedTeam brings it down here, and then you're just going to go through all of those fields, all of these columns here. We're going to go through and just make sure that everything is correct. Okay. So I have my company name. So when I'm done here, I'm going to go save next. This is all correct. This is correct. Okay. So once you're done doing all of this, and if you need to make any changes, you can. Okay. Alrighty. So we're done. So now we're going to select the finished matching button. There you go. And it's told me that I've successfully imported one contact, and they've noticed that 5 contacts failed to import. Okay, so I'm going to get an email and it's going to tell me why. But here you can see it says, for your convenience, below is a link to download these failed imports along with the instructions to fix this, right? So we can click that and RedTeam's going to download it for us. All right, and I can tell you right now, the issue was that they all had the same email address. Okay, alrighty. So once they're in here, we can go into our contacts. Let's find them. All right, so here's the one that did go through, Brenda Walsh. Okay, so she came in, she went through. Here's the contact information. Go. Right, so that's how you do a mass import of your contacts. Alrighty, so right here in that contacts button, you also have the option to search your contacts. You can search by trade. We're going to go through that next. You can, if you just want to add a single company, you do have the ability to right here, add a single company. And this is assigning the trades. If you ever need to export your contacts, you do have the ability to do that. And then same thing with exporting the companies. Okay. But now trades, let's talk about that. So what is a trade, right? A trade is a contractor that's essentially a type of subcontractor that specializes in a specific part of the construction project. So RedTeam allows you to take your subs and assign them to trades. And this really helps you later on when it comes time for sending out those bid invites, okay? Because we link those trades to our cost codes. So if I have a cost code for electrical in my project, if I've done all of the work and I've gone through my contacts here in RedTeam and I've gone through my subcontractors and I've taken my electrical subcontractors and assigned the trade of electrical and the cost codes to them, when I'm looking up specific subs, they're going to pop up because they have that as a part of their profile. Okay, so let's go to our trades. So we're going to select our name, and then from here, we're going to go to administration. And this is how we're going to be able to control our trades. All right, so here in administration, we come right down here to trades. I'm going to show you how to manage your trades. Okay, so here are all of our trades, right? And I want to show you the 16 and 48. These are our cost code divisions. So this is a 16 cost code division and the 48. So let's come down and select a good one. Here we go. Carpentry framing material. You can see that there's a 7 and a 4 here. So if I come into edit, I'm going to show you what that 7 is and that 4. So the trade name for carpentry framing material, these cost codes assigned to it: fences and gate, rough carpentry, wood framing, blocking, wood decking, and so on. So that means that whenever I'm using a project or whenever I'm in a project and I'm using any of these cost codes, this is the trade that's assigned to it. So if you ever needed to add cost codes to your trades, very easy. You're just going to click that over and then select the arrow, and it pushes it right over. You realize you want to put that back. Just select it and click the arrow again. Now I'm only editing my 16 division set. If I need to also edit my 48 division set, once I make these changes, you're going to come right here and select 48 division set. Okay. And then you'll make that change there. Okay. Now, this is where the work comes in. So if we come right here to unassigned companies, RedTeam is going to show us, here are our companies that don't have any trades assigned to them. So we can print this list right here, print that list. And then now we know that we can go through, we can go to all of these companies and assign their trades. So if I were to go back to Peach Pit that I just entered, when I come into my company, and come right here to trades and cost codes. Oh, whoops, sorry, that is the, there you go. I can come into trades and cost codes, and now I can assign a trade. Okay, so I can come to Peach Pit, and I can say, we're going to add carpentry. There you go. So now whenever I use this trade for any of my projects, whenever I use the cost codes that are entered into this, so you can see here, I just drop that down for you. This carpentry trade consists of all of these cost codes. So whenever I use these cost codes, Peach Pit is going to show up and I'll be able to send them a bid invitation. Okay. Any questions on this?
Hey, Eileen, we just had a question.
Okay.
When you go to the trades in administration,
Yes.
and go to the unassigned companies,
Yes.
it looked like you were able, or that you would be able to click on the company and go directly.
It's not working right now.
Okay.
Yes. Yeah. This needs to put in a ticket. It's not working right now. But it should. You are right. We should be able to click into there and then right from this very screen be able to make the changes.
Perfect. Thank you.
You do need to put in a ticket. You're welcome. Thank you. Yes. Okay. So I answered that. Does anyone have any other questions? Nope. Okay. Alrighty. So now, after trades, we're going to work on our cost codes. So right over here on the left-hand side, we're still in administration. This is where it's going to live. So again, administration. And then we'll select cost codes. Alrighty. So we're going to go to our manage cost codes. All right. So we have our 16 division code and our 48 division code. Right. So to open these up, you're just going to select it and it's going to drop it down. So RedTeam does have this built in for you, but you do have the ability to customize it and add additional cost codes as needed. So if I select, let's say, general conditions, it's going to bring down all of my cost codes. So I want to point out right here, anything that's grayed out, that means it's currently being used in an active project. So I cannot make a change to it, cannot make changes to cost codes that are being used. Okay. Now, if the cost code is not grayed out, that means it's not in use and I can change it if I need to. Right? So if you needed to change the description of it, you could do that. If you wanted to change the units, you have the ability to do that here. And you can select, you can enter a default quantity and a default unit. Okay. Now, right here, you can see we do have some options. This little arrow button right here is going to allow you to create an assembly line item. Okay. So I clicked the arrow. Now, under this cost code, I can create an assembly line item. So I can create as many line items as I need. And then the great thing is that if I'm building out this cost code and I know that I'm always going to want these assembly line items to show up on my projects, whenever I use this particular cost code right here, I'm going to select this checkbox. Okay. So now whenever I use the 002.0 cost code, I will always have these 3 line items underneath it. Okay. Now another button that we have right here, this is our notes. So anything I add here, these are our bid notes. Anything I add here, what I can do is, so let me show you. Bid note. So I can add this information here into my cost code so that when I am sending out my bid invites, these notes are automatically assigned to the cost code. So my subs, when they get those bid invites, they're going to see that note. They'll know what exactly I'm asking them to bid on. That's what that note is. All right. Then right here, if you ever make a mistake, you want to delete it. That's what the trash can button's for. And if you right here, if you select that pencil, this is where you're going to edit the division item. So you can see here, this particular cost code is defaulted to Ted's template. All right, let's say I really like this template and I really like this cost code and I want to use it for all of my estimate templates. I can click my estimate right here. All right, and we will be going through estimate templates next after this. So it'll make a little bit more sense in just a minute. Okay. So you do have the option to change your unit here. You can change your description, same thing, quantity and unit value. And then here is where we're entering the cost category. So right now it's an other cost, but let's say I want to use this code for material. I can select that and now it's going to make this cost code a material cost code as well. Right? Same thing with subcontractor. Now, right here, this great little button right here, if you know that whenever you use this cost code, you're always going to have to send out a request a submittal package from your subcontractor. Checking this box is going to help you with that one step for your project. So whenever you use it, whenever you use this cost code for your project, Red Team knows, hey, we're going to have to request some submittals, and it's going to automatically start the process for you in your submittals. It's not going to send out the submittal request, but it will add it to your submittal package here. Saves you some time. So once you're done, you'll just select done, and then it's going to save that information for you. So any questions from anyone? Oh, and also I just want to show you, you can move them around if you select this icon right there. Okay, so that's how you can edit the cost code. Now let's say you want to add a cost code. It's really easy. Before you add it, you want to find a gap in your numbers, right? So I have 001, 002. I don't have a 003. So that's my gap. So if I want to use 003, definitely can. So to do that, you're just going to select the plus icon. Here you go. You don't need to put in the first division number, just that 003. Okay. You select your unit, your description. Okay. And then again, this is where you're going to be able to select. Do you want to default this to any of your estimate templates? Okay, and here's where you'll select your cost category. I'm just going to say that this is GC labor. And because it's GC labor, I'm not going to check the create corresponding submittal package. All right. So once we're done, we're going to select done. And it was successfully added. Okay. So we can see that right here, sample code. It's been added. Okay. All right. So that's how we add our cost codes. That's how we edit our cost codes, and we create assembly line items. So before we move on to the next, to our estimate templates, does anyone have any questions on this?
Yeah, Elaine, we just got another question.
Okay.
It looks like there's a correlation between the cost categories and the letter on the end of the cost code. Is that?
Yes, thank you. Yes,
Oh,
right
you're
here.
welcome.
Yeah, just as Ed is, or I'm sorry, Ted is mentioning right there that O. So it's pulling it from here. So you've got equipment, you've got GC labor. So that's where you see the L, you've got the overhead, subcontractor, and warranty. So yes, those items, those letters that you see being pulled right there, those are your cost categories. You're correct. So OH is overhead, L is labor, S is subcontract, and so on. Thank you, Ted.
You're welcome.
So you can see right here, this temporary fencing, we have the cost code set to labor, material, and subcontractor. So you can use the same cost code, but have it for different categories. It's a very good question. Thank you for that. All right, so we've been editing our cost codes. So we're going to move on over to our estimate templates. So in the same area right here under estimate templates, but again, to get here, select your name, administration. But here's where your estimate templates live. Right. So your RedTeam Go database is going to have some templates already built in. You're going to have your build out and renovation, your service work, residential, kitchen renovation, ground up, small projects, and interior build. These estimates are built in. You do have the ability to change them, and you have the ability to create your own. So if you wanted to update one, you would just select it and then select update. And then it's going to ask you, well, which one do you want to update? Do you want to update the 16 division set or the 48 division set? Okay. I selected 16, so here it is. Okay. So I can click into them, and now I can go through and edit my template. So these are my cost codes that have been selected, and these are the cost codes that not have been added to this template. So I can go through, and if I want to add, let's say, general conditions, but for subcontractor, I want to add this to my template. I can click it, and it'll push it right over. Just there we go. Okay. Let's say I realize I don't want that. I can click it from over here and it pushes it right back over. It's very easy to edit your templates. Same thing, and you'll just keep going down. And you can add them as you go. So that's how you edit your template. You do have the option right here. If you click this hover to expand, I'm clicking them. If you do that, you don't need to click it. You just hover and it expands it for you. Okay. You can expand all divisions. Now, if I were to go, they're all expanded for me, so I don't need to bother with the clicking. And you can export this to an Excel document. Okay. So those are your options here. Now, this is editing an existing template. If you wanted to create your very own estimate template from scratch right here, you go into the estimate templates and you just give it a name first, right? Okay, so I added that. So you can see here, it's added it here for me. I'm going to select update, select my division set, and then we just go through what we did. So I can click my items and it will add them right over. Okay. Another thing that's really great is that, yes, I'm building all of this in my estimate templates, but let's say you get a project and you don't use a template, and you create your bid worksheet, you put all this work into it and you realize, wow, this is a really good estimate. I think this is one that I'm going to use in future projects. You don't need to come into this area and do it all over again. Right from the bidding worksheet in the project, RedTeam will allow you to save that estimate as a template. So you won't have to do the work all over again if you've created it for live project. Okay. So any questions about creating estimate templates and editing them?
No, ma'am.
No. Okay, great. Okay, so now we are going to move on to some of your default settings. Okay. Not here, 1 second. Okay, so if you click accounting, so now we're going into our accounting settings. Right here, the very top, we're going to click select accounting, and then we're going to come down to our billing requirements. All right, RedTeam's got 2 options for you for your sub billing requirements. Right here, this is your vendor, your material vendor list, and then this is your sub billing, right? So what this is saying is, and I'll read it out to you, the material vendor list threshold amount is used to determine if a subcontractor is required to provide vendor contact information, associated material lists, and a schedule of values. So if the subcontractor's contract amount surpasses this amount, they will be prompted to provide this information when they begin their first bill. So what that's saying is, when we're working with our subs, if you know that you're going to want a schedule of values for every project, let's say, you're going to set this to a $1 value. All right. So any project that I enter for my subcontractors, if it's over $1, they will have to submit a schedule of values to me before billing. Okay. Let's say, a schedule of values really isn't important to you. Then you can set this to whatever limit you want it to be. All right. This is where you're going to set this. And then here, this is the vendor material list. So if you put $1 here, they will have to submit to you where they're getting their material from, and an SOV for that as well. But that's what this area is for. Okay. Any questions on this? All right, so next we're going to go on to our default rates and our contract defaults. Okay, so this is where we're going to set our default rates. So anything that I enter here, when I create a new project, it's going to automatically say that my work retainage is 10%. My material retainage is 10%. However, you do have the opportunity on a project basis to change this. So while this is my default, if I create a new project, and their work retainage is 5%, I don't need to come back into here. I can change it in the project itself. This is just setting my defaults. Alrighty. And then this is where you're going to set your architect to receive their payment day. So that's on the 10th. The owner is to make their payment on the 10th, and so on. Okay. And again, these are just our defaults. Okay. So these are our owner contract defaults. Now we're going to come right here to our markups. Okay. Same thing with our markups. These are our defaults. So whatever I change here, when I have a new project, if the sales tax is different or if the labor burden is different, I do have the ability to change it on a project basis. Okay. And you can see here, changing the amounts now will not affect any of our previous bids. Okay. So this is where I'll put in my sales tax, my labor burden rate. So we are going to go through how to enter your employee hourly rates. So when you are entering your employee hourly rates, we already have the labor burden rate here. So you don't need to calculate that in their rate. Red Team's going to do the work for you. Okay. Here's where you enter your general liability, your overhead, your profit. Your potential change order overhead is going to match your change order overhead. So make sure these two match because your PCOs do become your change orders. And then you've got your PCO profit rate and your change order profit rate. Same thing. These two, you want them to match because your PCOs, again, become your change orders. Okay. Any questions on this? Nope. All righty. Okay, so we will now move on. Okay, so let's come on over. The next thing we are going to do is, let's see, time cards. So right over here under time cards, it's where we're going to set our employee rates. So again, we're still in accounting, time cards, employee rates. Here are all of our employees. Okay, so you can go through and you can change their rates here. Again, don't worry about your labor burden because we already have that worked out. Okay. So this is where their rates live, and this is where you're going to enter them. Okay. The next thing, let me see. Does anyone have any questions on employee rates? Very simple, right here. Time cards, employee rates. No questions? Okay. All right, we are actually just about done. So the next thing that we're going to go over are right here under expenses. All right, this is where we're going to add your payment methods. Okay, now if you are integrating with QuickBooks or Sage, you want to make sure that these payment methods match exactly word for word. So to enter your payment methods, you're going to select the cog right here, and then we're going to manage payment methods. All right. So these are my payment methods that I already have in here. You can see it right here in red. It tells you do not use your credit card numbers. Don't want to actually put the numbers in here. We're just giving it a name. And again, you want this name to match what's in QuickBooks. If you are integrating with, QuickBooks Online or QuickBooks Desktop. Okay. So this is where you add your payment methods. So you have reimbursable, you can see vendor credit and so on. And this is also where the expenses themselves are going to live. So, your project managers will come here and this is how they're going to be able to view the expenses. Okay. And it's also how, they'll be able to approve or reject. Okay. All right, so we went over everything. I'm going to open this up, and if anyone has any questions, speak now. Nope, no questions. Okay, great. Before we log off, I want to show you another thing, very important. If you select your name right here, and then you come to our learning center, this is where all of the great knowledge of Red Team exists. So you can view past webinar recordings right here. You can view, our upcoming live training sessions, such as this one. RedTeam also allows you to view articles. Now, right here under implementation courses, this is where you're going to find really nice bite-sized training videos. So if you click implementation courses, go. So you can see these videos are pretty short. I mean, the longest I think is 5 minutes. You can go through here and find whatever it is you need to watch. Another great thing about RedTeam, let's say you're not the type of person who likes to watch videos, you're more of the type of person that is a reader. Right here, RedTeam allows you to search for answers. So let's say you are wondering, oh, what's a trade? You can type in trade, and then RedTeam brings up some articles for you. How can I find contacts with a specific trade? Here's one article, and it gives you some great step-by-step information. How do I assign a trade type to a contact? Right? So this is where if you ever, run into any issues, if you just need to look something up, you have all of this information here. Okay. RedTeam does also allow you to chat with a RedTeam employee. So you have that ability right here. Okay. Okay, so are we good with questions, Ted?
Yeah, we don't have any other questions in the chat right now.
Okay, awesome. All right. Well, thank you everyone for joining us. Again, if you have any questions at any time, always feel free to reach out to us. I hope you all have a great day.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.